What's the scariest experience you've ever had that you can't explain? A very lifelike dream where an unseen entity pinned me on my bed and shoved my phone down my throat. I woke up with my fingers down my throat, trying to dislodge it, not realizing it was on a charger on my nightstand. Somebody responding to that said, "Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think you accidentally got a hell phone." Which made me think to myself, like, man, can you accidentally be given a hell phone from the Apple Store or something? Some kind of cursed creepypasta urban legend type thing? And no, I don't think it is. Somebody says, "What does that mean?" And in response, they say, "It's a phone from hell. It's short for hellular phone." Hellular. Moving on. This might be a bit long and difficult for me to word in English, so apologies if there's any mistakes. I am disabled, and I spent a lot of my childhood in the hospital. I got surgery to improve my quality of life in 2008, and I had to spend over a year in hospital every day. There was always a lot of other kids there. Some who would be spending even the weekends in hospital, and others would get to go home on the weekends, come back Monday, spend the week there, and repeat. There was a lot of sick kids there, obviously, with various illnesses and disabilities. There was this one girl in particular, we'll call her Judy, who was in a power chair, unable to move or talk. She did vocalize though, and over time you could recognize her vocalization from afar, if that makes sense. So anyways, this one time on a Friday, a friend and I were waiting for our ambulance to come pick us up and take us home for the weekend. Friday afternoon was staff meeting time, so my friend and I were just in our room, waiting alone. This wasn't unusual. What was weird though, was that we could hear Judy wailing, not just vocalizing, full-on wailing. It was like pained screams and sobs. Nobody came to check on her, and when our ambulance came, the people picking us up didn't seem to notice anything either. My friend and I were worried about her though, so we agreed to mention it to a nurse when we came back on Monday. Monday rolls around. My friend and I decided to tell a nurse "Hey, Judy seemed pretty agitated on Friday, and we didn't see anyone check in on her. Is she feeling any better?" The nurse turned white. I remember her just staring at us for a second, and then telling us yeah, she's okay. Don't worry. Go back to whatever you were doing." My friend and I thought that she reacted a bit weird. But hey, we're kids in a hospital, struggling with our own health. An adult says she's fine, so we go back to our own thing. We don't see Judy after that, but we don't think much of it. Years later, we learned that she passed away a day or two before my friend and I apparently heard her. I still don't know what to make of all this now that I'm an adult. I just hope she's at peace now. Someone replies, "Chills." I was in Italy, walking through a small market. It was very full of people walking towards us, and there was this one guy who was a head taller than everybody, wearing dark clothes and darker skin. Am I allowed to say that? I think that's fine. He had his head bent down, but because I'm short, I could see his face perfectly. He had the widest grin I've ever seen. The moment I put my eyes on him, I felt the most intense fear. Like something instinctual had triggered in me. He was walking directly towards me, and all I could think about was surely the moment we were at the same height, he would grab and stab me. I stepped to the side into a group of tourists. As he walked past me, he was chuckling, and his face didn't change. His chuckle was very deep, and always the same sound. It was like no one noticed him, His clothes were so different from everybody else's, and he was so much taller. He just had this scary aura around him, but nobody noticed. My dad hadn't even noticed that I stopped walking. The moment I passed this guy, everything felt fine again. It was like a sepia filter had been removed from my surroundings. It was like the moment I looked at him, everything else got tuned out, like in a movie. I never had anything like that happen again, but every now and then I do have nightmares about people following me at a quick pace. Someone saying, definitely don't watch the movie Smile, which, man, I heard some bad things about, but I loved that movie. Also Megan, that's not anything like Smile, but that was also really good. I just saw that one. I've never really been a big fan of the evil doll thing, but to be fair, I've never seen Chucky. I just thought it was neat that they're doing a whole modern take on the evil doll thing. Evil AI possessing the doll instead of a demon or a ghost. It's neat. Moving on. I was a teenager, not under any substance, laying on my bed. Suddenly, I fell into some kind of reality shift. TV sound was distorted, time felt slowed down. Saw two silhouettes by my bedroom door. Dark, but outlined in bright yellow light. An adult and a kid. Still gives me shivers. Someone replying to that one saying, until you mentioned the silhouettes, that sounded a lot like derealization or depersonalization. I've struggled a lot with it too. Like you said, it feels very suddenly like reality is shifted. I'll get this sense of deja vu, and just as it feels like I'm about to remember whatever it is that feels familiar, that's when I lose the thought, and reality snaps. It stays with me anywhere from a few seconds up to a minute, and it's often followed by an intense nausea. It's really weird because it's like I'm in some sort of trance, or I'm on autopilot, but I'm fully aware of everything at the time. Marijuana use appears to be very strongly connected to it, even if you haven't smoked that day. Shocking. Though not all cases appear to involve weed or other substances. Anxiety is a far more common factor, I believe. My attacks have been far more frequent and severe in the past, during periods of high stress. Now, I didn't even know what depersonalization or derealization disorder was, so I Googled it. Depersonalization disorder occurs when you persistently or repeatedly have a feeling that you're observing yourself from outside your body, or you have a sense that things around you aren't real, or both. Depersonalization is where you have the feeling of being outside yourself and observing your actions, feelings, or thoughts from a distance. Derealization is where you feel the world around you is unreal. People and things around you may seem lifeless or foggy. So coming back full circle, returning back to Reddit, and to the story about the dude falling asleep in his bed, or having a reality shift or whatever, we have one more response from Mad Tapper Man. He says, I had those a lot as a child, and into my teen years. Hadn't smoked weed by then, of course. I remember standing in the hallway at night, talking with my dad, and everything seemed super slow and had sort of a echo to it and was all funky. That wasn't the first time I experienced it, but it was the longest it stayed with me, and I remember thinking I was gonna die. Late teens, early adulthood, I smoked weed every day for about 3 years until I fell into some sort of mild psychosis with episodes of depersonalization, which I'm still fighting nowadays, although it's gotten a lot better. I think the weed really made it come out in a bad way. Hey guys, Scary Stories here. I hope you're doing well. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. I always enjoy scrolling through these Ask Reddit threads and reading all the different stories, so hopefully you enjoyed scrolling with me too. If you did, give the video a like. If you didn't, well, I don't know why you made it this far, but maybe you could give it a like anyways. If you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.